For the wing bracket here, they give you this threaded bolt with no ends. So one of the ends is actually a 3mm Allen key. That one will be pointing outward, so we can tighten this down in there. And I'm going to use some thread locker on it. Always a good idea because the wing's going to have a lot of vibration. And so hopefully with the thread locker, it won't vibrate itself loose, and we'll never have to worry about the bolt. Here we go, got that nice and tight. Now I've just got 3 more to do. I also used some thread locker on these bolts for the end of the wing. These came shipped apart from it, so I went and got these from the hardware store just because I didn't like the ones that came with it. They were Phillips head. I feel like Allen keys are a lot better, even though these will probably be staying in here for the life of the wing. So they've got red thread locker on them. I also used thread locker in all 4 of these, tighten them down really snug. I went ahead and made up my own hardware for the bracket mounting to the wing. This is an Allen bolt. I went to the hardware store, just matched it up with the same pitch thread. So that fits on the back, and then it's got a locking nut on the back with the plastic. So hopefully that won't come loose over driving, and vibration that the wing might have won't knock it loose. And then also this hole is a little smaller, so I'm going to drill it out some so I can use the same mounting hardware. They had it set up to where this is a different size in the front. Well, I don't want to have to carry multiple Allen keys around with me, so I'm just going to drill this out, and then I've got another bolt just like this to put in the front, and I'll do that for both of the brackets for the wing. Unfortunately, the S209 Replica wing didn't really come with many instructions. It just came with the hardware and the template here to, mount your trunk and get it ready. So what I did is, I just kind of put this down on the trunk, drew the circles. But before I did that, I used this cardboard in between the trunk here. That way the template was aligned a little better, and I just pushed the template up in that corner, and then circled the holes for each side, and then tried to measure as best as I could. I took a straight edge ruler here, went all the way down, matched the center of the holes the best I could, and then I did this measurement. I wouldn't say follow my instructions to a T, but this is what I've come up with, and I think it's pretty accurate. And this is my 3rd round of measurements, so they're coming out to be around the same numbers. So as you can see here, we've got 3 7/8 from the top down to this dot, and then from the top to the dot down here is 9 and a half. And then I tried to measure from side to side, but this is a little more difficult. However, my numbers on each side are coming out, so either I'm measuring wrong on either side, or it's pretty accurate for where the wing needs to be. And then I measured the dot here from here to the other side of the trunk, and I came out with 9 7/8. And I've got the measurements here. So here we can see from top to bottom here, 3 7/8, and then from top to the bottom of the wing for the bracket, that's 9 1/2 again, and then from the edge to the bracket here is 9 1/4, and then we got 9 1/2, just like the others. Well, my measurements are a little off right here, about a 1/16 of an inch. However, I think it's going to be all right. Hopefully the wing comes out well. I'm not sure. If not, then it might be behind a carbon fiber trunk or something This is just marker that you would use for a whiteboard. It's not permanent marker, so it comes right off. And what that did is I didn't have to cover up the whole trunk with paper or anything like that. I just covered up this part where the brackets were going, where the brackets made contact to the trunk. So I don't have to worry about scratching that up. And then I left myself, you know, some squares here big enough to get the right measurements as I zeroed in on where I think I need to drill my holes. So I've got a punch here, and I'm gonna go ahead and punch my exact holes. That way when I drill, the drill bit won't slide around, and hopefully it's gonna be accurate. So here we go. So here is the first drill hole for the top, or the part closest to the window. So you can see this hole kind of lines up with the inside hole, and I'm gonna have to drill this bigger like these to be able to get the nut in there, and then tools and whatnot to tighten it down. But I'm glad to see at least this line, or these holes are lining up, and then we've got the top hole here, so that one's really easy to get to. So we're off to a good start, seems like, but we'll see. And now I just have to drill the other side. Easy. Yeah, so this a little too close together. This side's not terrible. Might have to drill this one just a little bigger. For this side, it doesn't really want to go in very well, so I'm going to just drill the holes a little bit bigger, kind of widen them out, and then that way I have more play. There you go. So far, we've got 2.5 inches from the brace and the end of the trunk on both sides. So, oh my gosh, that's such a relief, and I'm very happy that turned out really well. I'm gonna measure the backs just to, you know, see what they're coming in at. And I think if these are, you know, the same distance apart for the front and then the back of the trunk right here, we're in really good shape as far as this thing being straight and where it needs to be. So, wow. A lot of measuring. Probably spent 45 minutes on measuring, but that's okay. I am happy with these holes, and so far the wing is looking really good on there. I'm liking it. Like it a lot. So, nice. Just gotta button a few things up. Eventually I have to get the STI, I don't know, whatever the things are for the trunk, but I'll get those and put them on here, so that way when I go to open the trunk, you've got that spring just like the STI wing. Here are the ends of the wing, so what I'll do is I'll peel off this, put some M3 on, and then I'll put it onto the side of the outside of the wing. Pretty self-explanatory, and just want to make sure not to scrape the plastic up right here. But I'll peel this off, look at both sides, see which one I want for the outside, and then put the M3 tape on the other side. Okay, so I ended up cutting some square holes in here. These, not exactly sure if this is the right way to go about doing it. I'm sure, you know, structurally this would be better flipped somewhere else, but it's pretty difficult to get anywhere in here, and then without instructions to follow, I just made my own way. So the plate right here is in place. You had to slide up this piece and then find the hole. That was really hard. As you can see, I drilled one hole and it was off right here, so I had to go just a little bit further up and over, and I got that hole. And then I put a nut on the other side. Probably can't see that up in there, but there's a nut, and then it's all tightened down. So I think having these brackets will definitely secure the wing under higher speeds. Again, so you can see this side's just a little different. And I actually tried to drill through with a big bit, and this metal is so thin that it just cranked it right over and pulled this up. So it looks really shoddy. So I'm sure if I could do this again, I'd redo that. And I've got the bracket up here, and then got this nut and bolt. I actually had these laying around the house, luckily, and that saved me from being able to put the brackets in. So yeah, doesn't look the best, but I think it's gonna be secure for the wing. Well, dudes, I got the wing installed, and as far as it coming out without any misalignment from the bolt holes I drilled, it actually did really good. Thoroughly surprised by that. I thought it would be more off than it is now, but it came out really good. The only thing I would mention is, like, this install is pretty much figure it out for yourself. It's like you got to find your own hardware. Not all the hardware is included. There's no directions, and it's an uphill battle. Like I said, just if you're into it, take it to a shop or take the chance, install it yourself, and hopefully it'll come out right. But I will go through the trunk later on, and the parts that I cut out and drilled, I'll probably go back and put some paint or silicone over those so none of the metal rusts out for the trunk. I don't think any moisture should get in there, but you never know. We'll see how it goes, and I'll definitely excited to go get some driving impressions of it. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. It's probably more for aesthetics, and it might add a little bit of downforce. That's what they say. It'll add some downforce, but how much, I don't really know. And the wing does have adjustability, so you can have it higher up to get more downforce, but at the same time, you're going to have more drag. So if you're doing like highway commuting, you're going to lose gas mileage there. And in the normal position, I'll probably lose gas mileage as well, because it is creating some drag as well as a little bit of downforce, I would believe. So take it for what it's worth. You know, I'll put some driving on it and see how the trunk maintains its rigidity, or if, you know, the wing is looking like it's denting the trunk or pushing it in or pulling it up or anything like that. I'm definitely curious. Like I said, you know, I am prepared to buy a new trunk like carbon fiber or something like that in case something happens to this trunk. I already had a little bit of a rust spot from a nick on the inside corner of the trunk, right where it meets the gap for the body. So there's a little bit of rusting there. It's not like it's a pristine trunk, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, guys. See ya.